I rise today to urge colleagues to support Chairman Bingaman on the upcoming amendments and to speak in favor of this extraordinarily important public lands package. This legislation would designate over 2 million acres of our great country as wilderness, surpassing the wilderness acreage designated by the last 3 sessions of Congress combined. The wilderness protected in this bill spans 9 states, including my home state of Oregon. In addition, it adds close to 1,100 miles to the National Wild and Scenic Rivers System in 7 states, again including Oregon. It's going to allow for much-needed upgrades to national trails, monuments, national conservation areas, oceans, the National Landscape Conservation System, forest landscape restoration, and water resources. Most significantly, the bills contained in this legislation would serve to protect our public lands from encroachment and preserve them for future generations to cherish and enjoy. The legislation includes provisions that are very near and dear to our country, but especially to Oregonians. It includes the Lewis and Clark Mount Hood Wilderness Act of 2007, the Copper Salmon Wilderness Act, the Cascade Siskiyou National Monument Voluntary and Equitable Grazing Conflict Resolution Act, the Oregon Badlands Wilderness Act of 2008, and the Spring Basin Wilderness of 2008. But today I also want to say that it's important to protect these special places because it will also be good for our economy to go forward with this legislation. These public lands, of course, have enduring benefits that we're going to pass on to our children long after these challenging days become a footnote in our country's history. So protecting land is a smart thing to do, and it's especially important given the significant economic benefits that you will see generated by this legislation. And that's because appreciating the outdoors is not just a passion for Oregonians and the people of our country, it is also an economic engine. It's certainly an economic engine in my state where the unemployment rate is over 10%. Folks have been losing their jobs. They don't know where their next job is going to come from. And the fact is there are significant economic benefits through recreation generated by this legislation. The Outdoor Industry Foundation, which closely tracks Americans' use of the outdoors and all of the economic engine that encourages, has found recently that Americans' participation in outdoor activities increased in 2007 to 50%. They found that the national active outdoor recreation economy contributes $730 billion to our nation. It supports nearly 6.5 million jobs. It generates $49 billion in annual national tax revenue and produces almost $300 billion annually in retail sales and services across the country. So outdoor recreation, what this legislation is going to promote is a huge economic bonanza for our nation. And I can just tell you, because colleagues have asked about Oregon, at one of the national treasures this bill would protect, our Mount Hood, we have had a banner skiing season. The Forest Service estimates visitation to the Mount Hood Wilderness is more than 2 million visitors a year, making it one of the most popular in our country. A number of senators have worked hard to make this legislation possible. Certainly Michelle Miranda in our office, Mary Gautreaux, and especially my Chief of Staff, Josh Carden, who has toiled for years and years bringing together community leaders, all deserve special credit. We've got gems in this legislation that are going to make for recreational industry meccas. And I hope that all colleagues will support Chairman Bingaman when these amendments come up. We ought to pass this legislation. It's time. It's time to do it for millions of Americans who are going to be part of future generations enjoying these great treasures. And we ought to do it because this legislation will also help stoke the economic engine for our country. Madam President, I know colleagues are waiting. I want to thank Chairman Bingaman for this opportunity to speak. I urge all colleagues to support Chairman Bingaman with respect to these amendments and get this bill passed here in the United States Senate today.